Hello everybody. Flight 629 took off at 6:52 p.m. and at 6:56 p.m. made its last transmission, stating it was passing the Denver Omni. 7 minutes later, Stapleton air traffic controllers saw two bright lights suddenly appear in the sky north-northwest of the airport. Both lights were observed for 30 to 45 seconds, and both fell to the ground at roughly the same speed. The controllers then saw a very bright flash originating at or near the ground, intense enough to illuminate the base of the clouds 10,000 feet above the source of the flash. Upon observing the mysterious lights, the controllers quickly determined there were no airplanes in distress and contacted all airplanes flying in the area. All flights were quickly accounted for except for Flight 629. Numerous telephone calls soon began coming in from farmers and other residents near Longmont, who reported loud explosions and fiery debris falling from the night sky. The remains of Flight 629. Ground searchers who reached the crash site determined that all 44 people aboard the plane had been killed. The debris from the accident was scattered across 6 square miles of Weld County. Conrad Hopp, a farmer who lived near the crash scene, said he and members of his family heard a big explosion. It sounded like a big bomb went off, and he ran outside and saw a big fire right above the cattle corral. He hollered back to his wife that she'd better call the fire department and ambulance because the plane was going to crash. Then he turned around and it blew up in the air. All 44 people aboard the plane were killed. The ages of the victims ranged from 13 months to 81 years. Suspicions that a bomb had been placed in luggage loaded aboard the plane were fueled by the discovery of 4 pieces of an unusual grade of sheet metal, each covered in a gray soot. Further testing of the cargo pit showed that each piece was contaminated with chemicals known to be byproducts of a dynamite explosion, the origin of which was believed to be a passenger's luggage. The FBI, certain that the plane had been brought down by a bomb, performed background checks on the passengers. Investigators then focused their efforts on Denver locals, citing that they may have had personal enemies. A few passengers had purchased life insurance at the airport just before boarding. One such insuree, as well as local, was Daisy Eldora King, 53, a Denver businesswoman who was en route to Alaska to visit her daughter. When agents identified King's handbag, they found a number of newspaper clippings containing information about her son, John Gilbert Graham, who had been arrested on a forgery charge in Denver. Graham, who held a grudge against his mother for placing him in an orphanage as a child, was the beneficiary of both her life insurance policies and her will. Agents also discovered that one of King's restaurants, the Crown A Drive-In in Denver, had been badly damaged in an explosion. Graham had insured the restaurant and then collected on the property insurance following the blast. Agents subsequently searched Graham's house and car. In the garage, they found wire and other bomb-making parts that were identical to those found in the wreckage. They also found an additional $37,500 in life insurance policies. However, King had not signed either these policies or those purchased at the airport, rendering them worthless. Graham told FBI agents that his mother had packed her own suitcase. However, his wife Gloria revealed that Graham had wrapped a present for his mother on the morning of King's flight. Faced with the mounting evidence and discrepancies in his story, on November 13, 1955, Graham finally confessed to having placed the bomb in his mother's suitcase. Authorities were shocked to discover that there was no federal statute on the books at the time that made it a crime to blow up a plane. Therefore, on the day after Graham's confession, the district attorney moved swiftly to prosecute him via the simplest possible route: premeditated murder. A motion by the defense attempted to have Graham's confession thrown out on the grounds that he had not been made aware of his rights prior to signing it, but the motion was denied. At his 1956 trial, Graham's defense was unable to counter the massive physical evidence and witnesses presented by the prosecution. He was convicted of the murder of his mother and, after a few short delays, was executed in the Colorado State Penitentiary gas chamber on January 11, 1957. One source has his final words being, "Thanks, Warden," after Warden Tinsley patted him on the shoulder. Thanks for watching another episode of Gallows Bird with Angela Martin.